today we are going to StepBack. I'm not sure what this event will be like, but if you do want to find out, why don't you come along with me? We are here.
I think we needed an overcoat today.
When we first got out of the boat.
I guess we're taking the hayride. Cool tractor. Look at those signs. Hi there, chickens and roosters. This is a new truck. You don't see too many trucks like this nowadays.
What they had in them before they started putting food? Oh.
Look at that view.
Yeah, a place over there that makes it for bird feed, they'll, yeah, we go over there and buy it. Shoot, we could have brought it. What is the screen? What was it screening? It got something to do with trash and something.
Let's check out this log cabin. Hi there.
And that stuff he had, you know, it was probably something we could help you. I didn't ever realize what that was.
Look at those signs.
I got some old sayings. I'm old on the inside. I have an old soul.
Army camp photo. You see that?
Yeah, I hadn't, yeah. So I dig everything in. Still like that,
We're still using it, yeah. Hey, it's still good. was, I was trying to explain to them about having the old round breakers. You know, the screw-in type breakers. Who that was, it was just
You should read that and you need some help.
it's something.
Look, it used to be 1 cent for a gumball. Now it's 25 cents.
Oh yeah, all the different parts. For the, it's the salesman. Yeah.
And still ran and built them. Cody built them. This is what and the cap on my mama had these. And the kids are yep. Toys.
What is that right there?
Yep.
This kerosene
Couple
can
of
with the other one. This kerosene.
Yep.
I had them too. Brett sang. Oh, my granddaddy loved his Brett sang. He was sat there and wrote. Talk about things.
Well, I'm learning, but a lot of it, you know, I remember my grandparents and stuff, and salt included.
Hello, how are you?
Come on in. I'm just fixing to run go get some lunch, but let me quickly tell you about an old room, one-room school, and it would have probably been in a militia district out in the country. And within those districts, if you wanted your kids to go to school, you either had a tutor or you'd send them to an academy, or they would attend, with other kids in like a little one-room schoolhouse. And these little one-room schoolhouses, the problem with them, now think about the dates here. Putnam County was created in 1808, 1807, the city 1808. And so prior to there was no public school. So if you wanted an education, you had to either have the money to be sent away to school. If you lived in town, you were very lucky and your parents could afford to send you to Eatonton Academy. You were a lucky duck. But if you lived out in the country, you had to go to either have a tutor in your family or group together and pool your money and attend a little school like this. Problem was, these schools had no curriculum, they had no demands for attendance, they had no trained teachers. Sometimes they would have a tutor if they could afford it. Other times it was like Aunt Sue or Uncle Jim who knew how to read and write, and they would go to these little schools and teach. They were only open about 3 months during the year because the kids had to work. See, they had to work farms, So, and attendance, even if you went those 3 months, the attendance was not mandatory. So you might not attend at all. So education was very, very spotty. So fast forward after the war, I think people in Putnam really saw the need for education for their kids. They wanted them to have better. So the Board of Education talked to each little militia district, which is what Putnam was divided into. Talked to the militia districts and said, really want you to kind of come up with one central school, that all I want to get kids to go to, want them to go longer, and everybody go. And Rockville was one of the first to do it. And so they got together, the people that lived in that 25 square mile district, they got together and decided to pool their money, their time, their energy. Y'all come on in. Money, time, energy, supplies. If you didn't have the money, you could donate your time. And they consolidated these 3 schools. And they built a new school on land that was donated by Mr. Henry DeJarnett out off in the Rockville district out there. And he put it right smack dab in the middle of this 25 square mile militia district so that it would be easy for all of the people to come to walk, because kids had to walk. There was no cars or anything like that. You had a horse and buggy if you were real fancy, but most kids just walked. So they wanted it to be centrally located, which I thought was really democratic about it. And they built this school, hired a professor to come run the school. He had 2 assistants, and the school they built was called Rockville School. It was the first consolidated school in the state of Georgia, which is a big first. They took these 3 little one-room schoolhouses that were scattered out in the district. They brought them together, built one good school. The Board of Education gave them $150 and built them a road. Built them a road, because back then there wasn't even a road to the school. He really put it central. And so to put the road in and put the school there and put the professor out there, and of the 42 families that lived out there in that militia district, about 68 kids started school that year. Into the next grade, and it finally started catching on. And it grew to be quite a well-known school. And then they added a second floor. They put in an auditorium upstairs. And it really became the center of this new growing community. They have pride because it was the first consolidated school. And they started for their older students, in addition to academic studies, they started offering cooking and home ec to the girls, the older girls. And they would do those on off days, when the boys were getting their academics, and then they would take the older boys and they would teach them carpentry, making furniture, building skills and things like that, which is again like a vocational program. It was the first vocational program in the state of Georgia. All out there at this one school. If you go out there today, sadly it's closed, can't go in, but you can look at it and peek through the windows, but there's an historic sign out there, a historic marker from the state of Georgia stating all of these firsts, that it was the first consolidated school, first vocational school, and so it's really a lot to be proud of. It was quite expensive to buy, and so you see up there, they didn't have paper sacks for lunches. They'd come about 9 in the morning after doing their chores. They'd come about 9 in the morning, they'd put their lunch boxes up there, their lunch pails. They'd do their lessons, and they would take turns with the teacher. I'm an old teacher. I cannot imagine the rest of the class sitting out there quietly while you work with us. That's magic, especially when you think you've got from 5 years old up to 17 years old sometimes. And of course, when they all started, they were all on different levels, because maybe you might have a 10-year-old that had a tutor who was, up there with the 17-year-olds, and the 17-year-old down here with the beginning readers, the first graders. So it took a while to get everybody kind of caught up and graded. But Professor Branch did do that. He did grade the school.
We're from Conyers.
Conyers,
Yeah.
not that far away. My cousin lived in Conyers, taught school
We're
up
still
there.
learning the,
Okay.
They're trying to get out.
Oh yeah, well there's a lot of great history here. There's their old school history museum.
That must be the chapel right up that hill.
Past 85, we don't know exactly how old they are. But I know I was already over here, and I went back over and took the mill down for it, so we could sharpen it. And I've been over here since '89, so.
That's long, huh? A lot of history.
I saw that trick driving. Huh? I saw that trick driving you was doing down there. Did you about get stuck?
order for later.
Yeah.
I don't like flat coats. I brought you.
Thank you.
Okay, if you need anything, you can send word by.
Can you take this back?
I sure
Put it
can.
in the trash. That's been got.
Watery.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
If I
darling.
need anything, I'll call Terry and he'll let y'all know.
Let me know. Thank you.
Come on in. You come in.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Turn it, see this belt right here? It's a leather belt, and if we turn the flywheel, and that makes the sewing machine work.
cheap. My mama used, Nanny used to have some of this stuff. She did. Hey, what? Lay down and go sleep the chick.
Hello again.